Hello, my name is Jeff Jamil. Today I'm going to talk about in real life, or IRL as they like to call it. Oddly enough, IRL in real life has actually been around a long time. I first heard about it back in the 2000s. Now, you're talking 25 years ago. This is when the internet first started. Very interesting, somewhat interesting story. I'm going to date myself really quick right now. The mechanism we used to chat at that time was IRC chat, which used to actually be going to on your computer. You used to be able to go to a client, little application, and you'd actually go over and log into a server somewhere. And most schools had them, I guess. So there's like 5 or 6, maybe 8 or 10 hubs, maybe total back then, of the schools that had these major hubs for chatting. It was a big thing back then. I actually used it for work because I did COBOL work, and literally I used to answer people's questions when they had any questions about COBOL, because I was a COBOL programmer at the time. And I find it's better when I answer people's questions. It actually helps me also, because it stops and makes me think. I go, am I thinking of that the right way? Am I doing it the right way? This is how I would do it. But that's the story of IRC chat. So ironically, one day I was also doing some personal things. You're single, you want to meet people maybe. So there's a person from Singapore I was meeting. I think I was talking to. I think her name was Chel, Chel, which I take it to be Michelle, but it could be anything. So I don't know. I know she wasn't from around here. I know we had one day. I learned something very entertaining that day, because we want a hard drive. I just go out and buy one. Okay, she's in Singapore. She can get them. That's where they make them. So I go over. She's kind of like whining a little bit about, she has some problem with her computer. She needs some, more space. I go, well, how about, why don't you just go out and buy one? I go, I can't do that. Okay, well, what size do you got? And she goes, oh, here, why don't I send you one then? And she's like, oh, no, we can't do that. There's import and restrictions. And I go, wow, there'd be import restrictions on a hard drive. It comes from your country. And I come to find out that actually in Singapore, you can't buy your own product. It's all for export. Who knew? And literally it was like against the law too. So I was like, who knew? But one of the things in those person, it wasn't with her necessarily, but it was actually with someone else that I was talking to. I think it was from Pennsylvania. And she said something, and she used IRL in it. And usually I'm pretty good with acronyms. I've been in the computer industry, so there's at least a dozen acronyms at IRL. But this person wasn't a tech-savvy person at all. So it was like, okay, well, what does IRL mean? I don't know. So I go, okay, IRL question mark? I don't know, no clue what you're talking about. And I got back, in real life. My first reaction was, why? And I look at the sentence again, I'm like, and it was along the lines of, that's me in real life. And my answer is, I'm confused. I'm an authentic person. And clearly, I've been authentic for a long time, clearly, now that I think about it. Since at least the 2000s. But when you think about it, it's like, well, when someone goes over and says, well, that's not me in real life, that means you're kind of like play acting. It's like, okay, so you're kind of lying to everybody. Which is very odd, because that means you're pretty deceptive. And being deceptive, to me, I am the way I am. So if I'm going to go over and say, hey, even in a social media setting, this is what I said, this is what I said. I said, I'm going to do it. That's just the way it is. So do you even have a distinction between in real life and virtual life? I don't know. It seems to me like you're lying somewhere, and I don't like liars. So it's just very interesting how people have separate lives that way. There's you could call it, for some people, it actually may be a split personality. I've met someone that has a split personality and dated them. So it was interesting. The good news is I did not see the alter side of that for only once or twice. But realistically, it's like, that's just very weird because we're not used to that. And literally, I always believe honesty is the best policy. And honesty is, I am who I am. Who I represent is me. If I lie about that, I can expect lies coming back to me. What comes around goes around. And that's kind of the problem, is people don't make that correlation. So it seems to me people who, anytime I hear the word in real life, I have to really stop and think for a second. Do I want to even deal with this person anymore? It is a hard stop. Because if I can't trust them, if you're telling me now this is what you've virtually been telling me is not what you are, I don't know. I need to rethink our relationship. What little we may have. Whether we should continue. Because to me, there should be only one. You should only have one persona, and that is you. It's like you go on social media, you have people with 5 or 6 different profiles. Some are far more active than others. Some of them are a little bit more kind of weird. They have the same name, but there's a little bit different about them. They could be copycats for all I know, but it's just very weird because I believe in the following. If you're busy in the world, doing things, working your job, doing your hobbies, you really shouldn't have time for social media. Just saying. And most people by now don't post anything personal on social media anymore. For good reason. Other than stalking and everything else. So at this point, why do you even have a social media account? Back to, why do you have to pretend life? As I said, I don't understand those kind of people. I really do not. I just know when I first came across that, it was kind of weird. Now, what's really crazy about that is about 5 years ago, I came across a person who said that to me in person, and I was more flabbergasted then. It's like, you were telling me, no, you can't say that because that's IRL. I go, but I know you. You're only supposed to have relations online with people you know. Just hint, security 101. So the question at hand is, okay, so you have relations with people who you don't know you, and you're totally putting a fake facade for them. Oh, red flag flew up. May not want to do business with this one. This is only a friend, a colleague, a neighbor. It was actually Doggy Girl from my story. She used to go over and, have separate lives like that. It's all I can say to people is really, if you do the IRL thing, here's a hint. I think you all need to stop hiding who you really are. If you're not happy, you can change that. If you're not happy with who you are, change who you are. You have the power to do that. I don't want to be sad anymore, then don't be sad. You want to be a different person? Then make yourself a different person. Don't pretend to be. That's literally the same problem we have with virtual reality. Eventually, people are going to use virtual reality so much that they're not going to be able to distinguish real reality from virtual reality. And that's what the fat cat's like. People that are really dumb and stupid like that. So, just in case AI didn't kill you. But yeah, that's what always stymies me in the process, is that it usually boils down from a lack of honesty. There's a real big lack of honesty there. And if you tell me that in real life that I'm different, like, whoa, what? Then maybe you need to reevaluate your belief system. Because you should never represent yourself other than the way you actually are. If you lie to yourself, You know, it's not like, now, don't get me wrong. If you're a paid actor, by all means. Maybe if you're a Fed, because Feds have to sometimes act. But at the same time, it's like, think about that a second. Why do you want to deal with someone who actually is kind of fake? So, just my thoughts on that. Thank you for listening.